welcome back to my channel. This is Alex of Coyotestarastrology, and this is my video for the full moon in Sagittarius coming in on June 3rd, 2023, which is a Saturday here in California. However, make sure to adjust for your current location on the planet as that time and date may change for you. And I know y'all are stoked that I got this video out early because this week, oh my God, it is a big one. The energies are very intense right now. Lots happening within, lots happening without. And as we've been discussing in my previous videos, there has been quite the buildup to this week coming. It tightened up over the last week or so, and I'm getting this out on, I believe it's the 29th. It's actually going to get a little bit stronger before it lets up. So we're in this vice-like grip of energies at the moment. We're going to be going into that during this video. A big part of that has to do with this right here, this Jupiter North Node conjunction in Taurus. The two are coming in for their exact conjunction as we speak. That is a lot of the intensity that you're feeling, and a lot is being asked of each one of us, which we're going to cover. However, in the last video, I asked you guys how you felt about me doing a webinar on that exact topic, particularly through the lens of how to best utilize those energies for manifestation. I'm going to do that. You guys seemed jazzed about that. So it's going to be on Sunday, June 4th, just after the full moon, but we'll still be in those full moon energies. And it's going to be at 6:30 Pacific Standard Time. It is going to be live on Zoom. Definitely going to be an interesting webinar because I've never done anything like this before. The first half is going to be astrology based. As I said, we're going to be covering Jupiter in Taurus at the North Node, what that means, how to use those energies for manifestation, particularly around money, because Taurus rules money. So around financial stability, but also just manifestation and quantum creating in general, which is one of my favorite topics. So the first half is going to be about the astrology, how to locate this in your birth chart, how to personalize these energies for you, and what themes might be coming up from the South Node and the North Node. We're going to talk about special dates to write in your calendar for Jupiter's transit through Taurus all the way into next year. And then we're going to segue more into the quantum creating part of the webinar, where I share with you my tools and tricks that I've developed over the years around manifestation. So anyways, hope you can join us. If you would like to reserve your slot for the webinar on June 4th at 6:30 Pacific Standard Time, you can reach out to me at my email. I'm putting it up there on the screen, coyotestarastrology@gmail.com, and I can give you all the information then. All right, you guys. So let's dive into this full moon in Sagittarius. So the first thing is that the ruler of this full moon is Jupiter, because the full moon is in Sagittarius. Ruler of Sagittarius is Jupiter. So that Jupiter North Node conjunction is what we have been feeling and what we are going to be feeling during this full moon in Sagittarius. I'm going to be going into that, as I said, during the webinar, but what I will say about that feeling right now is that it is a big jump. We are all being asked to make a gigantic jump, a gigantic leap into the future towards our destiny. We're being asked to grow. The North Node always represents something that kind of scares us, that we don't exactly know how to do, but that we feel magnetically drawn towards, like fated destiny point, right? So Jupiter, being that Jupiter is a magnifier sitting at that gateway, we are all being thrown, propelled into our destiny. However, simultaneously, Jupiter is polarizing the South Node in Scorpio energies. We have been on such a journey of South Node Scorpio. We're almost to the end. Look, we're at 3 degrees, but this is sort of like the last little sprint of this insane South Node Scorpio marathon, and it's all happening, and those shadows are being magnified yet again. So lots of people facing off with their shadow out there right now. If you know someone who struggles with addiction or depression, You might want to check on them during this time. This is going to be really intense. You know, this is where somebody's addiction can flare up massively, and it may be a breaking point for them where they have to go and seek help, or, you know, similarly with their mental health. Outside of that, you know, the Scorpio part of our chart is this very deeply private, subconscious, hidden shadow area of our consciousness. So for each person, that's going to be personalized, and that's going to be different. My shadows look different from yours, but trust that fears of all kinds, scarcity of all kinds, shadows of all kinds are being magnified for people at this moment, and they are being asked to jump into the future through that North Node gateway. Now, what makes it extra intense, though, is the Grand Cross that's been happening over this last week. I'm actually going to come into the present moment here on the 29th. Here we go. And look at this. So we have Mars in Leo. Mars is the planet that wants to push us forward. It's our passion, it's our drive, and it is an accelerator. Mars is opposite Pluto, the planet that rules Scorpio. Pluto rules transformation and change. Having Mars opposite Pluto literally breaks down and translates to accelerated, aggressive change. It's like hot, it's fast, it's tense. So this is change that speeds up, and there's an intensity around it that can feel like a little much. Simultaneously, Pluto and Mars are squaring the South Node, the North Node, and of course, Jupiter. So this intersection, this traffic jam of planets is highlighting all of these themes and accelerating it, making it a bit more dramatic than it would otherwise be. So that's why I say we're at this like boiling point. A lot of this stuff isn't new. We're actually still flushing out a lot of energies from the Mars square Neptune aspects of last year. I do think that this full moon plays a role in that as well, which we're going to get to. So we're still in this purging, this cleansing of these shadow energies. And this week can be exhausting. In fact, let's segue over to the tarot cards. And I'm going to get to the positive aspect of this in a second, but I want to give a place, I want to clear a space for the people that are going through a lot right now, because I know that they're out there. Okay, so here's the tarot cards for the moment. For the full moon, for the second decan of Sagittarius, we have the Nine of Wands. And if we look at this guy on the card, check it out. He looks exhausted. He looks weary. You can see his hand that is curled into a fist. Like he's still got some strength, and he's going to persevere. But his faith is being tested, maybe within himself or within circumstances. He's like kind of holding his head, maybe like drying the sweat from his brow. Like he's weary. So this is a card that can have to do with an ongoing battle, exhaustion, and it's a card that has to do with stamina and persistence. Knowing that we have to keep going, but that we've been through it. Look at his leg. It looks like he's been through like a battle of some kind. Oh, there's even smoke rising from the ground. Yeah. Difficulty. There's been difficulty, but he's going to push forward. We can see that within his hand. He's still got the power, but he's being tested. And then the other card highlighted here for the sun, this chick is going through it too. So this is the Nine of Swords associated with the second decan of Gemini, where the sun sits. And this is a card that can deal with anxiety, worry, negative thoughts, or even despair. You can see she's, oh, she's so beautiful though. She's like, I just realized she actually has wings. She's like this beautiful angel, celestial being, and she just looks stressed, and we see the swords above her. So there's something that's been worrying her. She looks exhausted by her own worry. She looks like she's being kept up at night, right? So the two together, it's kind of like the internal and external battle of needing to persevere through some intense times emotionally and physically. So that's the tarot for the moment. I think that it makes a lot of sense with the Jupiter North Node part of the chart being the ruler, that again, the North Node tests us. However, now on to the positive, because I know that there's some people having massive breakthroughs right now. I mean, and I want to also give space for this full moon to bring that in for some of you that may be going through it right now. Let's go back to the full moon chart. Here's the thing about the North Node. Yes, it's a challenge. Yes, it pushes you, but it's where you are destined to go. So when your soul aligns with it, you're back in the flow. You're back in the river. The synchronicity starts to align again. You're back on the right track. God's got your back. It feels good. So for those that have jumped in the river and who are flying, there is some potentially incredibly magical things happening to them right now. Opportunities of their dreams, gateways flying open that they've wanted deeply subconsciously for a long time, realizations coming in, teachings coming in, wisdom coming in that they've needed for a long time. And there can be a calibration happening within of knowing that this is right, that we're on the right track. And at the same time, they could both be happening. We could be standing kind of with one hand in the shadows and one hand into the new reality and being tugged back and forth in both directions. I've been feeling a little bit of that. So it's not all bad here. And the webinar on the 4th, we're going to be focusing on the positive of this and how to maximize on this opportunity, because Jupiter is a planet that deals with luck and opportunity and growth. So we want to harness this moment. We really want to jump on this opportunity as it goes by. Okay. The Sagittarius element of this, what I like about this Sag moon is that Sagittarius always gives us a really high vantage point, or like a ledge to survey everything from. Sagittarius is the guru, the teacher, the spiritual seeker, someone who is seeking the meaning and the teachings around life to understand the shadow and to understand their life journey. So I like that about this full moon, that I feel like there's going to be an illumination of truth and a really nice perspective. And we also see that Mercury and Uranus here have come back to conjunct again. So there's this kind of Uranian innovative quality to things at the same time, which is really nice. I do want to point out that Venus in the chart is opposite Pluto. So big transformations through the heart space at this time. I think that's happening on a collective and global level, is it not? Yeah, so big changes of the heart, big intense processes happening within relationships now. And honestly, you guys, the second half of this year is all about that. We're going to have the node switch to Libra and Aries, and we're going to have a freaking insane Venus retrograde that is just around the corner in Leo. And I'm actually, as soon as I get this webinar out, I'm planning another one for that, because we're going to do back-to-back webinars, because this Venus retrograde is so gnarly in Leo that I think it deserves its own webinar. So stay tuned for that. So just know that this year, man, especially the second half, big work within relationships and love. And we have this powerful full moon in Sagittarius near the end of the South Node Scorpio to, I think, really give us some higher wisdom so we can integrate a lot of what we've been going through and a lot of what we've learned. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, if you want to be a part of this webinar on Sunday, reach out to me at coyotestarastrology@gmail.com so you can get the info. If you would like to reach out to me for an astrology reading, I am taking slots for that as well. You can go to my website, coyotestarastrology.com, read about my readings there, and if they resonate, reach out to me and we can set up a time. Thank you guys for tuning in and have a beautiful full moon. Bye for now.